Welcome to Graya Overload. I'm Anthony, and Microsoft has made an offer to purchase GitHub. So GitHub being acquired by Microsoft here for a large sum of money. And at first, a little bit about GitHub is GitHub's basically a resource for developers, an open source as well, where developers can go and work on open source projects that are out there that many people may use, or that many developers use, right? So there's a lot of open source projects out there, and GitHub is one of the biggest places for them online. Now, Git is a source repository control, and that's what GitHub is basically based on, is using that Git repository control. Now, Microsoft has been putting a lot of effort into open source here the last couple of years, and their developer shows have put a lot of effort in showing. Each year they brag about how much open source and how much they're committed to open source, and people in Microsoft are committed to that. Now, that's great, but there's a lot of people out there that have some skepticism, and I think that it can be out there. One thing that I've read through Microsoft blog posts, I wish that they would have came out a little bit more forceful in the blog post on stating their commitment to open source. That's one thing that they could have really knocked it out of the park and really just shown how committed they are to open source and how much they want to move the ball forward and make more things open source. They could even probably maybe announce a couple projects to be open source, which would have been very interesting at the same time to show that commitment. Now, I was reading through this as well. I did the GitHub one and the Microsoft one. One other thing that was really caught my eye is that GitHub was saying that how Microsoft's and GitHub visions really are starting to align, and their futures are closely matching each other's. That was a very interesting aspect, because I know GitHub's been looking, I believe, for a new CEO. I'm pretty sure I read that someplace a while ago, and now that they got a pathway for that, right? And later this year, that what they said, once the acquisition closes, that it's going to be led by CEO Nat Friedman. I hopefully got that right. And he's a open source veteran and founder of Xamarin, and they're going to report to Scott Guthrie, or he's going to report to Scott Guthrie. Now, the GitHub CEO and co-founder Chris Ransrat, I hopefully got that right. I apologize if I got it wrong. He's going to be a technical fellow, also reporting to Scott. So hopefully that there's going to be some continuity and some backing to make sure that it stays in a great direction and staying open source. I know that's one thing that many people are worried about and all, because Microsoft maybe hasn't had the best history in the past on being in good faith. And so, things have changed, cultures have changed at Microsoft, but, you always get worried about these things, right? When it gets swallowed up by a Microsoft or something like that, you're always worried that things are going to change maybe too much, and you're trying to think of different ways to, have backups and other solutions. So I really hope that it all goes forward and goes well as planned. I'll probably do another video on this, especially when it closes, especially if Microsoft makes another statement rather than just a blog post on this after the acquisition goes through. Because I really want to see, I'm still iffy on if I like this or not. I thought it was great as a separate entity, but if it was having problems with money or whatever, it's going to be, somebody's going to buy it eventually, and it's just a matter of who and how well that they kept on the execution. With Microsoft's commitment the last couple of years to open source, this looks to be like a pretty good acquisition for Microsoft, as well as it could be a great acquisition for, or a great thing for GitHub. I would really like to see Microsoft say, here's some new projects that we want to put on, we've been working on, or some of our technologies that we are now open sourcing. And here's the code base, you guys get to look at it. I think that could be a great opportunity for Microsoft really to kind of hold up the open source community, as well as to show their commitment to open source while at the same time saying this purchase, we're going to make sure we're putting forth our best effort to make sure that everything, as much stuff as possible, is open source to keep this open source community growing. I think it's a great collaboration as a developer to have everyone collaborating in an open source manner. I think you can get a lot of great minds working together and getting a really resound and great product. So that's kind of like a little bit of my open source, and I like going to open source projects. They're great. I love trying to work on them, or try to contribute to them as much as possible, because it is a good it is great for the community in my thinking. So with that, I do want to know what your thoughts are. What do you think of Microsoft buying GitHub, and do you think it's a good idea? So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and I'll be sure to read them. And I would like to thank you for also supporting this channel, helping this channel grow. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Graya Overload. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe.